And we're recording. Welcome to TechMiss.
Hello, Lead Summit R7. So happy to be here with you. My name is John Courtney. I'm an instructional technology specialist.
I'm Corey Bunker. Thanks for joining us today, whether you are live here in the meet or joining us for the recording later.
We're so happy to have you guys for our TechMiss in R7 recording of and live webinar of Screencast-o-matic. So we just finished one on Cami. We are presenting now on Screencast-o-matic. This is me getting my mind right. And we're happy to have you joining us. Corey, will you tell us a little bit about the history of TechMiss? Where did TechMiss in R7 come from? And while I toss that ball to you, I'm going to put in the chat our Twitter hashtag. So if any of you out there on the Twitters, feel free, whether you're watching it live or whether you are watching a recording, to tweet about hashtag TechMiss in R7 if you're learning about Screencast-o-matic and the secrets of those here.
You might remember in the month of December in 2020, we had the 12 days of TechMiss as a countdown to winter break. And each day our ITS team released out sort of a choice board look of some options of templates and resources and really cool stuff that was free. But we also had some district purchased items like Screencast-o-matic's Premier option, Cami's Premier option, that were purchased for all staff during that time of the pandemic. And while this TechMiss is set up a little bit differently, we are doing some live webinars. It's not around necessarily newly purchased products. It is with that theme that the district has promoted this year, Elevate the Essentials. So some of these essential tools for blended learning in your classroom. And today is Screencast-o-matic. So thanks for joining us. And I think we should get started. When we think of Screencast-o-matic, screencasting, if you've been teaching for 2 years at least, probably you've made a few screencasts in your career. So screencasting isn't necessarily what we want to point out. We want to point out today the secrets of some things you might not realize you have as an option with the Screencast-o-matic features that the district has purchased.
I've been having mixed emotions about sharing the secrets here online, especially if we're going to think about publish this thing to YouTube. Like, do we really want to put the secrets out?
Yeah, I'm ready to share the secrets.
Oh, man. All right.
I'll
try and get myself there.
Okay.
Well, secrets of Screencast-o-matic. Pumped that you guys are here. If you're in LSR7 and you're watching this webinar, live or recorded, we have a unique URL that allows you into our district subscription. That is going to be shared with you. Is that a secret? Can I put that out?
You can put it out.
All right, I'll put it out.
You got it?
Yep, I got it. Okay. It's going to be right here in the chat. And that's our unique URL that will let you sign in with Google and then become a part of our domain subscription, Team Premier subscription to Screencast-o-matic.
Yeah. So just make sure that you are utilizing that account. I know I run across teachers when I'm out in buildings that maybe hadn't got the district account, and so therefore they're missing some of these tools. So make sure that you have that account.
What is Screencast-o-matic, first of all? It is a screen recording tool. That's no secret. In fact, we have long recommended in this department that teachers use even the free version of Screencast-o-matic because it allows up to 15 minutes of recording time, which is more than you get on any other tool. It has some cool features within that. You can annotate as you're recording, and it's always had this, even on the free version. But when we purchased that Team Premier subscription back in 2020, the winter of 2020 or the January of 21, when we purchased that, we got so much more that's a part of our subscription that I think largely still is a secret, and we're ready to spill the tea, spill the deets.
Spill the beans.
Spill the beans.
Okay.
Share all the secrets of Screencast-o-matic with you. So to do that today, I'm going to go ahead and toss this back to Corey, and she's going to start you in a place that maybe you're a little bit familiar with, which is the screen recording tool with a slight twist.
Yes, so we are going to head on over. You know what, John? I am going to take over the share my screen here.
Love it.
And I'm going to give this away a little bit early, I think. We did a little app smashing for some resources today. And here is a Padlet. We'll be sharing this link to to you shortly, but I wanted to point out in this Padlet is a category here listed with a bunch of information about ScreenPal. So the first thing that is a secret about Screencast-o-matic is that you not only have a Screencast-o-matic tool opportunities that we'll shout out today, but you also have ScreenPal. And ScreenPal is an extension. ScreenPal then will overlay in places like Schoology, where you can then do like an on-the-fly kind of screencast anywhere that you can do some commenting. So one place that makes me think about commenting is when I communicate with my students via the updates area in Schoology. So here you can see that I'm in my playground course, and because I have that ScreenPal extension, when I click here in my updates box, notice I just clicked my cursor there in the updates, and I probably need to get rid of Grammarly for a minute, but up pops this little icon. It's like almost like the Screencast-o-matic insignia with a little bit different design. That pops up, and I can click here, and right within my Schoology update, I can post a screen recording, just a camera image of me or both me and my screen. So I can put a screen recording right here in my update space. So maybe I want to prompt my students for how they're going to navigate. Maybe I want to point out some tips about navigating from my new announcement banner at the top of my course. So once I click start the recording, select the screen that I would like to record, I can start sharing, and right away here it's going to start my countdown. Notice my tools over here on the left. And I am screen recording right here, and I can pick up a drawing tool and start doing some annotating about where I want my students to look. And then when I'm ready, I just pop over here, pause it. I have some of those expected features like put it in the trash, delete and start over, clip it or trim, or I'm ready for that one to finish up. And I click finish, and right there is a link to that ScreenPal recording all ready and set to go for my class.
You know, those tools that Corey just showed, delete and start over, or go ahead and release that link with the recording on there. Those are things that we use all the time in Screencast-o-matic anyway. And Corey, there's one step I think we might have just forgotten, which is to link up, right? This link that was copied to your clipboard. Because notice, Corey has some other updates here. So if she pastes that again, it's already copied to her clipboard, so she can paste that. And then inside of Schoology, which is not always the case everywhere, but inside of Schoology, you'll need to remember to link this with that actual URL, which is again still on the clipboard. And so when Corey clicks Save Changes Now, this update here is linked. She's posting it. All the members of her course are receiving this. And what's cool about it is what she's getting ready to show with her mouse. And so anybody who has the ScreenPal extension, which I just shared in the chat, is going to be able to do what Corey's doing right now.
Thanks for reminding me of that, John. Yes, it is essential when you're in Schoology like that to link that. Because look, when I'm hovering, up pops my screencast right there. I don't even really have to click on it. I just hover.
New news. This is new news. A secret to Screencast-o-matic is ScreenPal. It's still in beta, actually. You'll see that whenever you get the extension, but it is a pretty cool tool that you have access to as a part of our Team Premier subscription.
But I can't move on without telling them where else ScreenPal is really amazing.
And I can't move on without saying new news comes from a different podcast. Keep going.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to head on over to a new Google Doc. So I'm typing in docs.new. If you didn't know that little quick tip, you can type in docs.new, opens up a brand new Google Doc for you.
All the secrets of the internet.
All the secrets, yes. And so I can have one more tab in my Chrome.
Yes.
But here I am in a new document in Google Docs, and I'm going to type this is my doc, okay, whatever text I'd like there. And I don't know about you all, but I loved Google Docs for the writing process in my elementary classroom. I had my fourth graders, even to start the school year, they drafted their writing right here in Google Docs because I wanted them to learn how to use some of those great features for accessibility, like voice typing. When they didn't know how to spell something, they could use their voice and then layer in their spelling skills after the fact. I loved that they could change the color based on some specifics about the writing that I was instructing on the classroom. But one of the really great things I loved about having students draft in Google Docs was the ability for me to give them feedback all throughout the writing process. So as my students drafted their work in Google Docs, we kept this doc assignment open in Schoology so I could always get back here, and then I would highlight their work and use the comment tool. And then I had to do a lot of typing out, and it took quite some time for me to do that. But now with ScreenPal, I hover over and there lives ScreenPal right in my Google Docs box. And check this, something even better.
It can't possibly get better.
It can get better. Listed here are some new effects. So I have set up the effects to have some shortcuts. So while I'm recording, and let's see if we can get this to go here, I am going to do a screencast of my students' work because I want to give them some feedback. Here I am setting that up just like I did in Schoology. I get my countdown. But now I also get to celebrate their great thinking by clicking some of the shortcuts that I really hope will pop up here any second. They were kind of laggy earlier. Oh no, John, this is not going off well.
Do I need to provide some effects?
There we go. Look at that. Fireworks.
Whoa.
I'm clicking a shortcut and I should get a thumbs up. And that's going to record right on the screen. How exciting and motivating for my kids to see this feedback as they are hearing me talk about their great writing. So I'm going to pause that video and then I'm going to save it. And unlike Schoology, I don't even have to link it. Notice the link lives there. I click comment.
Wow.
And then I get a little thumbnail of that amazing screencast video with all that great feedback from my class.
That's incredible, Corey, all through the extension
ScreenPal, which comes with your Screencast-o-matic Premier account. And you might not even have known that secret.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? I'm going to copy that and paste it again one more time for anybody who's just joined us in the chat, because my mind's been blown. I don't even know if I can present after these secrets.
Well, do you have any more secrets about Screencast-o-matic?
I do.
Okay.
Because we have more time in our webinar.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Secret number, it feels like secret number 6 at this point because we're sharing so many of the secrets of the internet. But this is secret number 2. And secret number 2, I'm going to actually jump in and share my screen. I'm going to share all of my screen. Yes, all of my screen. And you're going to see yourselves here. We'll get out of there. We'll go. Can you see all of my screen? Okay. Now that you're seeing all of my screen, here is secret number 2 of Screencast-o-matic. When you have a Team Premier subscription, like we do in R7, you get not just the screen casting tool or ScreenPal, you also get a screenshot tool, which is pretty cool.
Love it.
All right, check this out. And you're like, screenshots, womp womp. I can take screenshots with my snipping tool right down here. Let me go ahead and hide this, get that out of the way. Right, the snipping tool, that's how I take screenshots. Well, not anymore, you don't. Because when you come down here, this is called the tray. When you have gone into Screencast-o-matic, so we're going to go right here through our custom URL, which is screencast-o-matic.com/LSR7SD for school district. We click enter here and we sign into our account, which I already was in, redundant. Here I am in my account and I can actually come up to the top and I have a screenshot tool right here next to my recording tool, how I typically create screencasts. And then this is a video editor, which we're going to go to next. Shh. Screenshot is going to launch the software. You need to launch it from here the very first time. But once you have launched it, what's awesome is down here in the tray, this little icon shows up. I've actually pulled this icon out of the tray and I've put it down in my little taskbar down here because I use it so much. All right. And inside of here, all the screenshots that I've taken show up. All right. And not only do they show up, so I've got a running history of them, but I can copy them. I wish I had Corey's document here. We'll just go and do our own slides.new like that, Corey. And is that a secret?
That's kind of a secret.
You kind of gave it away. And so I can extrapolate from docs.new to slide. All right. Here we go. Now I just click Control V because it was copied to my clipboard. bada bing, bada boom, 4 of the best looking ITS in the entire district here on my slides presentation. I can come back down. I can copy a Grinch as well. I can paste a Grinch onto my next slide. Let's go one more new slide. There we go. Here's a Grinch. So easy. The screenshots I've taken are available to me to use, and I've got kind of a running history of them right here. All right. But it gets better.
I was going to say, that's not super impressive. I can do that with my snipping tool.
Oh, goodness.
Easily.
All right, Corey. Well, let me up the game a little bit for you. What's neat is in here, next to my name, if I come down to where it says preferences, so I clicked on the little Screencast-o-matic icon in the tray, I'm coming by my name and I'm clicking preferences. In here, I can choose to run this as startup, so it always launches, so I always have my screenshot tool there with me, and I can set up keyboard shortcuts. So that way I can quickly launch the video manager, the editor. So mine's Control-E is how I set mine up. My screen recorder, Control-R, and my screenshot tool, Control-S. Maybe you're like, John, that's not terribly impressive. Well, let me jump into a Schoology course here, and we'll show off how this works. Inside of my Schoology course, it's a playground course, I can come in here and I can click Control-S and give my students visual instructions, which we know are oh so important when you're teaching students in a blended environment. If I want them to do things with online tools, I need to provide the steps for them, especially when they're working independent of my instruction. So Control-S on my keyboard, look, this hand's free, this hand's doing a keyboard shortcut. Control-S launches this screenshot tool. I can then go over and drag out a selection. So here I go, dragging out a selection. And then I release this, and there's going to be a little pop-up in the top right-hand side of the screen you're going to see. And that pop-up is something that I want to deal with right now. All right, so let me go ahead and release that. Image copied, so I can paste that thing right now. But I'm going to go over here. I'm going to open the image editor. Didn't know there was an image editor, did you? Did you?
I did not until today.
Really?
Actually,
She did. But you may not have known. And in the image editor, this is where things get cool. All right. If this were a screenshot that I needed to release beyond the Lee Summit R7, but I didn't want to give away our professional learning course access codes, I can come in here and I have all these tools in here. One of the tools that I have available to me is blur. So I can blur anything on the screen. Maybe it's student names, maybe it's grades, maybe it's course access codes right here on a webinar of Techness that you're trying to blur out. All right, so I can blur those out when I'm creating this screenshot tool. I can also come in here and I can say, students, I'm wanting you to complete our Flipgrid, which is inside of our course. So the steps to do so, check this out. This is where it gets super fun. I can customize what this looks like. I've got a green circle with some white text on the inside, right? A fuzzy shadow, right? And it's not just talking about my face. But I click done. When I go ahead and float my cursor on the screen here, I'm going to say first step is to click into our course. The second step is to come down and open Flip. And it keeps that numbering going for me anytime I click my cursor. Isn't that cool, Corey?
That is cool.
All right.
What I like the most is that's pointing students in the right direction, and I'm not even there with them. Mm-hmm. So I'm setting them up for success because they know where to click in my Schoology course to get the job done that I'm asking them to do. Absolutely.
2 more quick tools. One is highlight. So if I really want students to focus on the courses button, I can do that and highlight the word courses. I'm pretty particular about this. And then I also like the shape tool. There's an arrow tool, but I like shapes to kind of outline some of what I'm doing on here. And you can even change like the layering. So I want there's all my steps, but I really want this shape that I just dropped up there to be above all those things or below all those things. So I just drag it around and I can change the layering on here also. All right. When I'm done, I click copy and it copies this image to the clipboard. It also saves it on my device. So there's done. There it is in the editor. And now if I'm ready to come into Schoology and let's go, we'll just add a quick material, pretend I'm making, well, it was that flip, but I'm gonna make a little page of instructions for my students first. I add a page, and on this page, I can come in and paste my instructions. I can also go and find them on my device as well, all right? So pretty cool way of using Screencast-o-matic. and the image tool for blurring, for steps, for all kinds of things, and they always live. I need to get back to that. Here's that image again. I just copy it, or if I need to find it, I can also browse straight to it, and I can access it this way. There it is in my files. So secret 2 is the screenshot tool.
Yeah, and John, do you mind clicking back on your tray there where you have your saved images? I also love that we can share these out beyond R7. So if you're building an email for parents to point them in the right direction on something in your course, that is also a great tool to use, not only just in Schoology, but in places like email when you send that out to others beyond that might not have an R7 account.
So you're saying I'd rename this?
You might rename it, yeah.
Awesome people, like this, and then I change it to a public link or unlisted. Either one's fine.
Yeah.
It houses it in the cloud, right? And it copies that link already for me. So now inside of our chat, I can say, awesome people pick, like that, and give you that picture. So when you open that up, there it is on the internet.
On the internet. Yes.
Just Google awesome people pick.
Yep. So a great way to make some visuals in spaces that maybe can support the thinking or learning of not only your students, but the adults that you work with too. We use Screenshot all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
That's right.
All right.
Corey, secret 3.
Any more secrets? Oh, that was a lot of secrets.
You're out of secrets?
No, I feel like I have another one.
Corey.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think there's one more secret. All right, let me head on over to share my screen, and you'll see you all for a second. But I want to point out, as John mentioned before, here we are in our Screencast-o-matic kind of dashboard space. And there's so much we can do with Screencast-o-matic that we're not even going into on this webinar as far as some of the tools and things that they offer with sharing and getting things to students, but we're going to look into the video editor. And as John mentioned earlier, here that you can get the screen capture or screenshot tool from these little buttons at the top, and the launch the recorder. This might be where you launched for screencasting, and then I can open up my video editor here as well. One thing I like to point out to teachers, just to be sure, John mentioned earlier, we have a unique link for at least some at R7. And some teachers are confused. So I don't know if I used that link or if I did or didn't use the link. So I don't know if my account is under the R7 profile. I would double check by clicking your initials. And if you have the words under your name, team member of LSR7 school district, then you know that you're in the right account. If you have wording that maybe says free user, then you're not under our Premier feature. So you might double check that and just ensure that you've touched the link.
Good point, Corey.
Let's talk a little bit more about the video editor. Like we mentioned, we've all done some screencasts over the last few years where we really learned that that can bring some power to not only student connections because they see our face explaining or describing things, but it can also make things a little easier to follow directions on. So I'm going to open up my recorder and kind of mimic or model that I might give my students some directions in my Schoology course. And there's my ScreenPal still listed and opened up here. So I'm going to close that out. And I want to head over to some materials in my course that I want to give some directions about. So I'm going to give some directions to my class here about where to access Lumio, which is another topic in TechMess that we'll be presenting on this afternoon.
1 o'clock, Lumio.
1 o'clock today.
Be there, be square.
So one secret that you might not know is while you're screen recording, so I'm going to click record, and I'm recording my screen, doing my little screencast here. I have some tools up at the top that I can do some annotating on my screen right here while I'm screencasting. I could add text here. If I wanted to type something, I could highlight some information right while I'm doing my screencast. So I want my students maybe to pay close attention to the Lumio button because that's where I'm going to head them today. Okay, so I'm giving all of my students directions. I could include my face in here if I wanted to. And then I'm going to stop that recording. I can listen back to myself. I can truncate that and kind of continue from where I left off if I wanted to add some more to it. But right now I'm going to click done. and it gives me these options. Do I want to save and upload? Maybe I've done that before. Do I want to do a quick share? That's really handy if I don't need this screencast to live very long. Maybe it's for one student or a small group of students, or I just don't need it to live very long. I could do a quick share link, but really some powerful secrets are under the video editor. So I'm going to open that up in video editor because maybe I want this screencast to be something I can utilize year after year in my Schoology course, because I want to use my Lumio account next year with students. So I'm going to make this video a little bit more detailed so I can use it again.
Like a general course introduction. Hey students, this is my Schoology course. This is where you go to find information, because it's one of the beautiful things about Schoology. Also a Techmas topic coming up at noon today. But
talk about elevating the essentials.
Absolutely. You can create that like course tour for students and then use it year after year, and you can make it really good right here.
Yes. So here I am in the editor, and when I click on tools, I have all kinds of options, from cut or trim the video to take pieces out that maybe I don't need, copy, hide. Maybe I don't want my cursor showing. I have my cursor kind of that yellow circle. Maybe I really don't need that showing. Insert things like other recordings, video files, other things I might have on my device. Kind of do a voiceover or narrate my video. I can do overlay. I use this one a lot. Some of the same features that you saw in the screenshot tool, like blurring out student names or information that shouldn't be there. Arrow, highlight, adding text. I can replace things or make a freeze frame. Love this. I can add music to my video, so a little bit of background. Many of you see the videos that we produce and then put out on our YouTube channel. Many of those have an underlayment of music so that it just adds a little bit of interest to our video.
Do I have to go get my own music for this, Corey?
No, it's all downloaded right here within Screencast-o-matic. So if I choose music, look at this bank of music that they have that's all free for us to use. Oh, I have holiday music in here.
Hey, cool.
We're going to have to
Merry
have that.
Techmas.
So I'm importing some music in the background of my video.
Did you use the Techmas one?
I use it, yeah,
Okay,
of course I did.
good. Yeah, Techmas themed music.
Yep, and it says, oh, how long do you want this music to last? I want it through my whole video. And then I click OK. And now I have that video music in the background. That's just one way to add music. I can speed up or slow down. I can add transitions between the effects of my video. And I can keep doing that. And I could really dig in. If I wanted to make a really produced video, kind of a big production that I want, again, to use over and over from year to year, maybe I spend the time doing that. One quick tip when you're video editing, I would click on this magnifier. This actually allows you to see your video, and then I can even click these bars at the bottom. It's almost like it's all expanded, so I can get really precise with my editing features. So those are just a little bit about the tools. I know we're low on time here, but one thing I want to show off for sure is when I get all my editing done, I can click the done button and look at this. I can have the option to save this file on my device. Be careful about doing that because you can overload the storage on your device.
Could I make a GIF out of that too?
I could make a GIF out of this and store it somewhere. So if you want to have just a quick animation, really great for showing students directions on something. I can upload it to my Screencast-o-matic account. I can upload it to my YouTube account. And did you know that you have an R7 YouTube account? If you didn't and want to know more, let us know about that. We'd be happy to help. Secrets. And I can put it right in my Google Drive as soon as I'm ready. So then I'm just ready to select that location. I'll say maybe I want this one in my Google Drive. And right here, I get to name it. And I can decide where in my drive I want it, choose the folder, and then I click publish, and it's ready to go. So some of the editing tools within Screencast-o-matic. We left out a lot, but is there any secrets I left out?
Well, one secret down there in the tray. Go ahead and click on your Screencast-o-matic icon, Corey, on your device. And I showed you that screenshots are available from here, but notice you can toggle to your videos as well. All right, there's recording 94. Nice name, Corey.
Right. I probably should change that.
Yeah, but there it is, sitting there waiting for you, and you can then go and find it and upload it somewhere, or you can go and do some further editing or publish it to the web. All those things right there from the tray. Screencast-o-matic is an awesome tool. We're so fortunate to have a subscription to it here in R7. Thanks for joining us today on TechMess for a few of these resources. Corey, would you actually show our slides if you have those pulled up in present mode?
I don't have them in present mode, but I'll make them in present mode really quickly.
Because we have some resources we want to share before we get out of here today.
Yes.
The resources, I'm going to go ahead and pop into the chat right here. And it's a Padlet that's been created that has not only resources about how to use Screencast-o-matic, which they have tons of great videos of all things. Would you believe a screencasting company can make good videos about how to use their product? They've got tons of tutorials, but we also have a Padlet that talks about pedagogy, about why screencasting, about maybe some interesting ways to use Screencast-o-matic. Did you know that you can use your Screencast-o-matic videos in Edpuzzle, which is coming up here at 11 a.m.? Hashtag Edpuzzle shout out on TechMess. That's a long hashtag. Hashtag TechMess shout out. Is that what we did for session?
TechMess in R7.
Well, TechMess in R7 is our hashtag.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I don't know.
But I don't know. We don't need any more hashtags.
Yeah.
Edpuzzle's coming up. There are the resources on a Padlet for you. You can also use your phone right now, and because Corey's got her screen up, you can go ahead and use the QR code. You can use the tiny URL. You can find all of this great content, the Padlet plus this recording, in the Lee Summit R7 Professional Learning course inside of Schoology. And you can always go back there, direct your colleagues there. This recording is going to be up there soon. So thank you for joining us on TechMess. Corey, any final words? This is your last TechMess webinar.
It is my last TechMess webinar because I'm going to be out in buildings this afternoon. Maybe I'll catch the recordings after the fact. Yeah. We have lots happening today. Hope you enjoyed Screencast-o-matic, and thanks for joining us for TechMess. It's been fun.
Merry TechMess, everyone. See ya.